seat. Mark Mayfield reports.
I have a constitutional obligation to put in 9 justices. So I think you're going to be very impressed when you see all of them. I mean, they're all great. These are all very talented people.
President Trump is determined to have the Senate vote on his nominee before the November election. He says his nominee to replace the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg will be a woman. The announcement is set to happen Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern.
Intelligence officials reportedly believe Russian President Vladimir Putin is likely directing an operation to intervene in the upcoming U.S. election. Brian Shook reports.
The Washington Post reports the CIA assess that Putin and other top Russian officials are behind efforts to disparage Democratic nominee Joe Biden. Their efforts are also meant to sow public discord ahead of the November election. Intelligence officers made a similar determination about Putin's direct involvement in plans to disrupt the 2016 election.
President Trump is blaming China for the U.S. hitting 200,000 coronavirus deaths. Trump called the milestone a shame, but claimed the number could be over 2 million if the response wasn't done properly. His word. Trump then attacked China, saying, Beijing, let this happen.
Stay tuned for the Coffee and program. It is coming up next here on ON, AM, and FM. Good morning to you.
Good morning and welcome to Coffee and, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee and panel.
It's Coffee and here on ON, AM, and FM. Thanks for joining us this morning. It's Wednesday morning. It's bright and sunny out, and it's September 23rd, 2020, second day of fall. I'll just keep going with that.
It's beautiful.
And it's getting warmer, which is odd, but that's the way it goes. I'm Joe Callahan. Thanks for joining us this morning. Let's say hi to Tim Draper from Navigant Credit Union. Hi, Tim.
Good morning, everyone.
And after a long 8-month sabbatical as she toured the eastern continent
yes.
of Europe and Asia.
Wouldn't that have been wonderful?
Melissa Smith from the St. Antoine Communities has joined us back in the studio.
Yeah.
Hi, guys.
It's been a long time. Wow.
I know. You haven't changed.
You haven't either, so that's great.
Nope.
You got that funny thing on your face, but I wouldn't worry about that.
That's what happens when you work in the healthcare. We look in the healthcare industry.
I've had these different stickers and mustaches. We try to keep it fun and light. And funny so today I went.
Smiles.
This is my serious look.
That's right. I got
my serious professional healthcare look today.
Okay.
I got in my wife's car this morning, and I usually have a mask in my car.
Right.
So I didn't have any in her car. So we fortunately have a glove box full of extra masks just in case.
Just in case.
Oh, my God. It's amazing how you couldn't find them for months and months and months and months. And now you go to the store and they're everywhere. Crazy expensive, but disposable is everywhere. And
that's right. And
it's different time.
And now they're being marketed. If you have to wear a mask, wear one that's creative.
Yeah.
Don't be dull.
Oh, my gosh. So and get them to match your outfit.
Oh, that's
right.
You order online with Gap and Old Navy right now, and you can buy a blouse with a matching 5-pack of masks that all complement. And I'm like, where are we at?
This summer, didn't they have 3-piece bikinis out there this summer? It was top and a bottom and a mask.
And a mask, yeah.
It was all matching.
See, I didn't want to get to that point where women would have to use that as an accessory.
That's true. So
now they're going to get used to it, and now it stays. And
don't you feel like where are we putting all of these masks? My mom's a sewer, so I have a million homemade variety of colors, patterns, whatever, novelty, Patriots, Bruins, whatever. Where are we putting them when this is all over? I've got 30 at home, and I'm thinking
in
the vault
hopefully.
in your yard.
You keep one.
You'll
a time capsule.
I wore these way back.
You'll hang on to them for about a year. And say, I don't need these anymore.
Yeah.
And then you just.
But it's crazy. I'm definitely trying to take photos of the kids and in moments because this is a blip in life, right? This is history in the making.
Well, it's time for first message, Melissa, from the St. Antoine Communities. So what's new over there?
So, I always like to open up for those of you that are not familiar with St. Antoine Community and what we have to offer for services on our property. We are located in North Smithfield at the corner of 400 Mendon and 10 Rhodes Avenue. We have 2 buildings on our campus with 4 levels of care, assisted living, rehabilitative services, secured memory care, as well as long-term skilled nursing support. The first building on our property is the Villa at St. Antoine. It is our 76 apartment assisted living facility. We offer traditional assisted living apartments in 3 styles: studios, 1 bedrooms, and 2 bedrooms, as well as an 8 resident memory care unit. In our second building, which is the residence located at 10 Rhodes Ave, it's our 260 bed skilled long-term and short-term rehab facility. We have our Easy Street Rehab Center inside, as well as our secured memory care unit, our private hospice suite. And as I always conclude this little piece, we would love to have you up onto our property and give you a tour. Times are different, not as easy as they once were, and it's getting colder. If you'd like a little more information about our community, I'd be happy to send you a video virtual tour of what our facilities look like on the interior, meet some of our staff. You can reach me at 767-3500 or email me at msmith@santantoine.net.
Now, what about the residents in terms of wearing masks? Are they doing it? Do they like it? Do they not like it? What's the situation with that?
Well, do you like it?
Well, no. So they're like the rest of us.
The answer to that question is no.
But do they have to wear them when they're in like common areas?
So, very unique question. So, in the assisted living, where folks are much more cognitively and physically independent, they are not mandated, but they're encouraged when we have social gatherings. So, similar to us in the outside world, if we have an entertainer coming or we have some kind of event where we know the majority of the building is going to be attended, we have chairs spaced out accordingly, and they have to come with a mask to that event. However, if we're offering cocktails, which we do often at our events,
I'm going to go.
They're taking off their masks, they're sipping their cocktail, but they're 6 feet apart, and we're outside for those large events.
Okay.
Now that it's getting colder, we're going inside. We're going to be pushing it a little more with wearing your mask coming down. But so far, we're managing the flow through the building pretty well. Some are in it all the time. I think they see staff in it, and they feel like,
that's the new
if
thing.
staff's wearing them, I should wear them. Maybe they're watching the news. They have actually been watching the news maybe a little too much. They've been in a little paranoid state. But they're in a bubble in that building, and they're only leaving for emergency medical appointments, so they really don't have to. Staff is sort of protecting ourselves from them, or the other way around. We're protecting them from us. But in the residence where folks are more physically compromised and mentally compromised, it's different, and it's not expected of them. They just don't have the ability to retain the instruction, and it just would be a waste of supplies,
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to start using that out in the stores. I can't retain the instructions. What are you talking about? What pandemic? I don't know what you're talking about.
Can't retain the instructions. Yeah, there
What
you go.
pandemic?
I can't retain anything. In this.
We're in a
That's
what's
right.
a pandemic?
Yeah. All right. On to other things. Okay, the big story of the day, of course, is, can you believe the NFL is fining coaches for not wearing their masks
I know, that was-
properly?
Oh my
stunning.
God, and $100,000.
$100,000.
That's a big time fine right there.
They're going to learn very quickly.
Because I was watching
They
watching
got
the game
Pete
the other night.
Carroll for not wearing it.
I know, and Belichick's got his little N95
That was weird
mask
what he
on.
was wearing. 'cause
But that's like an N95 mask, isn't it?
And
It's
then
got
he's
that
wearing
peak
it
in the
wrong
front
half
of
the
it.
wearing
time.
it wrong.
Oh, yeah. Well,
It's
yeah.
covering his nose, but not his mouth.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, because he's got to like
what
that.
are you doing?
I know. It's probably because he can't try not to fog his glasses up. That's my problem. You put the mask on and I can't see it. Somebody
Yeah.
needs to invent that.
There
Figure
is
that out.
Well,
there is
told
a
the way of
spray for
doing it.
glasses. There is a spray that actually prevents fogging because
Really?
pre mask wearing there was that spray that existed. I have a few nurses that use it and they swear by it. But the whole transition, cold weather
Yeah.
inside
Yeah.
and then inside
Yeah.
the air conditioning can impact it, heat, whatever. But there is a spray that you can put on your glasses to prevent fogging.
But I'm also told if you put your glasses on outside the mask,
Yeah.
you'll be all set.
Yeah, just a little
But
more on the
then-
tip of your nose.
Yeah. But I don't like wearing it there.
And you have to make sure you're this is the other piece.
Now put
I
the
go in the
glasses
grocery
on, yeah.
store and I remind folks, this is a wire. You need to pinch that.
Oh.
You can't if it's straight across. Of course, you're going to have foggy. You got to
Yeah.
pinch your nose. That's how you
It's
protect
better,
the seal.
actually. It does-
But
it's
not
better.
every mask has a wire.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I've told like 3 cashiers
Oh,
at
okay.
Stop and Shop down the street, like you've got to pinch the
What's
the
the matter
nose.
with you?
Oh, here comes the mask lady again.
Well, it's like you have it right there, Tim. It's straight,
Yeah.
right? And
Yep.
it's literally just hooked on their ear, straight across. I'm like, no. Like, pull it down so it spreads across your face,
Yep.
and then we're going to have a tutorial on how to wear masks
I think that's great.
on air, trying to give it.
Nothing wrong with
You
that.
guys miss me. This is
We
so
do.
much better
We
in
do.
person than
And
trying to.
we hear you every week, but it's much more fun without all the static.
All right. The big press conference yesterday at Woonsocket Police Department for the big drug bust that they had, and it's big when the Attorney General shows up.
Yeah.
Peter Nerona was there, and
Yep.
Mayor was there, and because the police chief was there, and among others, and mayor was there as well. I think I said that. Public safety director, and so I mentioned it to Dave as I was driving in today. It's just people. I don't know if they complain, but they say, "Oh, what do the police do if they're not just?" Well, they're just driving around looking for crime.
Yeah.
Well, no, they're not. I mean, there's months and months of stuff you never see that what they're doing, and you're not even aware they're doing it. They don't tell you, "Hey, this is what we're doing now."
That's right.
Right.
We're investigating this big opioid situation that's going on in the city. No, they're not going to tell you that until they start making the bus. So 20 arrests over the last couple of months by
what's going to happen with those people?
So
Will they just be let out on recognizance or whatever? I always wonder.
Well, I don't know.
They take these 20 people, they arrest them, and then they get out on bail, and then what happens? Then they go.
They get their court appearances.
Yeah, which will probably get dismissed.
Now, can I ask the question, are they Woonsocket residents based on this? I did not hear the story break yesterday. Or is it just that Woonsocket police found it?
When you read all of them, they are all, not all, most are from Woonsocket. One I read is from Southborough, Massachusetts.
Okay, I'm going to look at those pictures in a minute, and I'm going to tell you why.
Well, you're not going to be able to. They didn't come out very good in the paper.
Oh, geez.
So
we have a
one's from
situation
Providence,
on
too.
our street and I live in a residential area right nearby St. Antoine, actually, so just over the border of Mass, but also near Blackstone, Mass.
Mm-hmm.
For the last year, our neighbors, we've all been tracking this truck on the street, reported to the police repeatedly. Massachusetts plate, truck, gave a description of the person inside, but clearly there's been exchanges happening, and it's concerning. You got kids in the street, but it's also right near our bus stop at the corner of the road, which I will not say on the air. I just stopped myself. But it's challenging because you're reporting it, but like you said, you're hoping, even though they're not responding and coming right out, that it's something they've been monitoring on their own in their own way.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why I'm like, let me see if the description matches the person I have been watching.
I know.
It might be tough to see the in the pictures in today's call, but if you go to Channel 10's website or Channel 12's
a little
website,
clearer.
all the pictures are in color. And so when they transferred to black and white, it didn't come out very good. But you can all see them right there. There is one person, like I said, from Providence. One person from Southborough. There was one 16-year-old juvenile male that was arrested as well. His name has not been released because he's a minor. And I'm looking through the article, Tim, and just skim me real quick, just to see, as you asked, what's going to happen to them.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make an assumption
they're
that they're all at
face
the
trial and all
ACI.
that other stuff, but I just feel like, I don't know.
You think they're going to be let out right now?
I think they may spend a night or two in jail, but I think that the court systems are so packed, trying to get caught up that depending on the severity of what they did, were they the dealer or were they a driver or something? And
well, most were
equally
arrested
as bad
for
in my mind,
possession
by the way,
and intent to deliver.
So possession is a good example. I mean, if you possess it and you're going to use it on your own, are you going to get thrown in the slammer for that?
Yeah.
Again, question for Bob Lauder tomorrow.
Bob won't be with us tomorrow.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so
right.
unfortunately, he's got court.
Oh, he's got
Funny,
court.
the Warriors got court.
How is court even? Did we talk about this on the air a few weeks back? Maybe we did.
It was closed for a few months.
Yeah.
But it has now come back into...
It just left.
It's now come back where court is in session.
So, but how about jury selection? Because I did jury duty last fall, and I was just thinking during this whole COVID thing, and I happened to have gotten it went away again, Tim.
Did?
It keeps going.
Trying to look
snapshot.
Trying to look at Tim's phone over there.
And I was thinking to myself, I got oddly a jury notice maybe 4 months after, 5 months after, and it was at the peak of the beginning rather of this pandemic. And of course, I wasn't going to go. I'm a healthcare worker or whatever. I would have declined it either way. But they also wrongly sent the notice to me. But my question is, have they been able to do jury pool? Because what if people decline because of this pandemic? I'm sure if I'm in the age bracket of 60 to 80, I mean, I have the right to decline, correct? You would think?
You would think so. I don't believe I've asked Bob that question, only because the law he doesn't involve a jury.
Okay.
So traffic stuff, restraining orders, things like that, it all just goes before a judge.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're doing in Rhode Island or in Massachusetts when it comes to jury pools and things like that, and whether or not they're going on.
Okay, you got a week to do the research, Joe, and I will.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I love giving you tasks.
I did the picture. I know. Melissa's
Not that I can't look it up,
the
but
person on the street.
all right, here we go. Snapshot.
But,
person on the street.
Listening to Dave talk about the story this morning, one of the guys allegedly was dealing the fentanyl out of his car in the parking lot at Walgreens at the corner of Cumberland and Clinton Street, which is, how many yards is that from the police station?
Yeah, not far.
It's about a quarter of a mile
I would have
down
found
the road.
a more discreet location.
Like, unless he's going with the old, well, I'm hiding in plain sight.
Right.
They'll never think to look here. I'm too close by.
No, I forgive my naivete in the drug culture, but isn't fentanyl used to create more? Isn't it like a
ingredient
in trying to get an opioid? The different
I
think
it's it.
It is it. Okay,
I think so.
I thought they cut it and added stuff to it and made more of it.
I think if you add stuff to it, it lessens the potency.
Probably.
But if it's pure, I mean, this stuff is rough.
Yeah, because if you touch it too, it'll kill you, right? I mean, that's why you have to take such precautions.
Yeah.
Like you can't even touch it; it gets in your system.
Yeah, but so good work by everybody involved here with the Woonsocket Police at taking care of this. Now they're going to they're going to team up with Community Care Alliance and have someone go around with the police department and they probably already have been doing this to talk with the people that use this stuff to see if they can get them into programs and maybe we can get them off this stuff.
Yeah, that's what the Attorney General was saying yesterday. And with the whole pandemic thing, we've kind of forgotten the opioid crisis that rages on, and maybe it's probably worse because of the pandemic.
People are home. Yep.
And those dealers are probably happy. Hey, no one's paying attention to us right now.
Yep.
So let's try to ramp it up and make as much money as we can right now because no one's looking at us.
Yep.
Or so they think.
Right.
That's right. Lull them into a false sense of security. That's the way.
That's right. So congrats all the way around. And just as a programming note, we will have Woonsocket Police Chief Thomas Oates on the Coffee and program on Friday to talk a little bit more about this. I tracked him down yesterday. I said, "Oh, he's going to be busy. I'll wait an hour or two."
Good for you.
And said, "All right, okay, Chief, we'd like to have you on Coffee In." I said, "What day works for you?" He goes, "Friday works for me." So okay, we'll have him on Friday. So
excellent.
So that'll work well. All right, so it is time for a break in the Coffee In program. So, Melissa, time for a second message from the St. Antoine communities.
Oh, I feel like I just gave my first message. Time is flying. So I love taking this kind of second spot opportunity to talk about what's happening on our property and in our community with announcements. Obviously, there hasn't been a whole lot going on just because everything has been COVID-based, but I'd like to report some good news, which is that we're moving forward with our walking path project. So it's been about a year in the making. We decided last year to allocate funds from our annual golf tournament, which was in honor of John St. Sever, a very long-term member of our board and also the person who kickstarted our golf tournament 20 years ago. So the funds raised from that event last year were going to be designated to this project. And then with everything COVID, it got kind of put on hold a little bit with the development of it and trying to put all our pieces together, design it, etc. And I'm happy to report that this week we had a meeting and we actually have a design and a virtual tour of it and hoping to break ground in the next few weeks. So we're super excited and it's definitely a highlight right now, I think, in the midst of so many sad things. And even for staff, I think we're excited to get onto the beautiful sprawling lawn of our property and just take the opportunity to go out on lunch breaks, whatever, have a little reprieve, but also for families as they're starting to come back onto our property. For visits and such, hoping that maybe we can utilize this walking path for that piece as well, and something to look forward to in the spring when this whole thing goes away, that we can get out there and
quote you on that.
Goes away.
If I don't have something to eye on the prize, right? If you don't have something to look forward to, I mean, how do we keep moving through the days? So that is really where our attention is at. And then the other piece I just wanted to make an announcement on is we have reopened to admissions in both the villa and in the residence. So I encourage you to reach out if you have any questions about, services for your loved one. It's been a really long stretch of time. People have been cooped up at home. I know a lot of caregivers have reached out. They've definitely expressed that they've been overwhelmed and exhausted and are ready for help. So please call 767-3500. Either you'll be directed to Billy McIntosh, the Director of Admissions for the residents, or myself at the Villa, and we'll be happy to help you decide what services are best for you.
So just out of curiosity, Melissa, when somebody comes in from the outside for their first time to be in the residence, do they Do you have to kind of put them or position them in a part of the building where they can sort of quarantine? They can still get all the therapies, but they're quarantined from the rest of the...
So, we have a designated wing in the building, and this has been standing since the beginning.
Yeah.
Any suspected cases of COVID, or even those coming in from the hospital or coming in from a planned event surgery, transferred over to us, they are put into a room on a unit that is quarantined. The challenging piece with folks, the only admission that we're really giving great pause with is anybody who has a diagnosis of Alzheimer's. So it's very challenging to keep them, kind of managed in one space.
Yeah.
And so if they have wandering tendencies and things of that nature, aggression or anything on that level that needs to be observed, we really can't admit them at this time safely because we have to worry about protecting the rest of the population. In terms of admissions at the villa, it's very easy. They have their own apartment.
Yeah.
And they're all, like I said, independent physically and cognitively, so we can definitely, quarantine them. It's not ideal to say, hey, welcome to our community, sit in your apartment for the next 2 weeks.
Right?
We'll slide your meals under the door.
We've worked with families. I mean, it's sort of a spin on it where I'll tell them, like, move all the furniture in and leave the box for them to unpack. It's something for them to do for a couple weeks, get settled. Staff's been bringing up goodies and treats and whatever we can do to kind of make them smile and get through those 2 weeks. But it's not ideal. But once it's over, they come out and they get to engage with everyone else and get settled.
I mean, it sounds like the good part of that story is it doesn't seem like there's any outbreaks. So you guys seem to have that under control pretty well.
The villa has maintained COVID-free status the entire time, and that is for staff and residents. So we've been going through testing, which is great. So it's sort of that evidence now in a situation where you were just hoping and assuming, okay, we're good. In the residents, same thing. I mean, we're going on month. I think two straight months now, no cases. We've had a couple staff that have been detected. Of course, it's all part of that whole proactive testing piece that the governor's really been pushing. No symptoms, no nothing. As soon as they're detected, they're out. But we're in gear all day. So even if they have a positive case, which has sort of been the argument for a lot of healthcare workers, if you have staff shortages, like, how can you pull people out all the time? They're asymptomatic, they're masked, they're geared anyways. But it's precautionary. And so if we really had dire staff issues, we have the right to actually allow them in, but we're not. We're choosing to have them stay out for the 2-week window.
That's great.
All right, break time here on Coffee In. More's coming up. And if you have any comments or questions, call it in 766-1240 or email them in to coffee@OneSocketRadio.com.
I'm here with Celeste Benjamin of the Benjamin Insurance Agency in North Smithfield. Celeste, tell me about the Benjamin Agency.
Most of our business is providing home and auto insurance. However, we feel the most important thing is to insure people. Everyone insures their home, their autos, which are really just objects. I don't know if you know this, Dave, but only 57% of Americans even have life insurance. You may get into an accident, you may have a claim on your home, but life insurance is a guaranteed payout for your family. We are here to keep your family going. Our family serving your family.
You're in good hands with Allstate and Kara and Celeste Benjamin of the Benjamin Insurance Agency, 125 Eddie Dowling Highway, across from Dowling Village in North Smithfield, 765-5000. Have you heard the news? If you have both Medicaid and Medicare, United Health Dual Complete can help you. And it's no wonder, considering all the extra benefits you could get. Dual Complete includes $3,000 in dental care with $0 copay. You could also get $800 to buy health products, hearing coverage, and credits for hearing devices, vision coverage, and credits for eyewear, no-cost gym membership, and Fitbit, and much, much more. See why Rhode Islanders with Medicaid and Medicare choose United Healthcare Dual Complete. To find a plan for you, visit our website at uhccommunityplan.com and search by your zip code or call 1-844-560-4944. Plans are insured through United Healthcare Insurance Company or one of its affiliated companies, a Medicare Advantage organization with a Medicare contract and a contract with state Medicaid program. Enrollment in the plan depends on the plan's contract renewal with Medicare. Benefits, features, and or devices vary with plan and area. Limitations and exclusions apply.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee in Pawtucket. They're a 62-year-old family business that roasts all its coffee right here in Rhode Island. Founded originally as Excellent Coffee Company, they provide great coffee to food service establishments throughout New England.
We are local and live at 99.5 FM.
All right, it's Coffee In on ON, AM, and FM. This is Joe Callahan here with Tim Draper and Melissa Smith. And Dave brought in his paint swatches.
And he asked me.
Ask Tim, what do you think? What color
my taste is in my mouth. Yeah, there they are.
Well, while you're
Color
looking at
swatches
it,
right in front of me.
I'm going to ask Melissa, isn't it funny? You talked about the... hang on.
The idea of what colors they have.
You talk about having the golf outing at your place. Isn't it funny how the person that wants to have the golf tournament is a golfer?
Right.
And what they're really looking for is to go golfing.
100%.
And we'll just call it a tournament as long as I get to be out there and go golfing.
Exactly. I actually have been saying for years, so even prior to this job, I've participated in organizing and running golf tournaments, and I don't golf. And
Okay.
every single time I show up with all the work you put into organizing a golf tournament, I'm like, I need to play.
Learn
Like, I
this
need to
game.
figure this out. Can't just be, running around in a golf cart all day taking pictures. Like, I need to figure it out. But my husband won't let me play with him. So I found a girlfriend that is excited to go out and teach me a little bit. Well, he won't. We're very competitive.
Okay.
And I have a sneaking suspicion that he is 100% afraid that I am going to be better than
Really
him.
good. Hey, it's a possibility.
Well,
So-
you might get, if for someone that's never played it though.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to play because you're going to be a lousy golfer at the beginning, and good golfers don't want to play with lousy golfers at the beginning.
So the interesting thing, you're calling him a good. So
Well,
you're
he's got-
calling him. You're assuming he's a good golfer.
Well, I'm assuming he's slightly better than the person who's never played.
Possibly, but I think his fear is because he's that marginal player.
Wow.
Marginal player.
Get him on the phone.
That's how he describes himself. Is
Okay,
that
he's
is
a
that
marginal
guy? Every
player.
time he goes out with his buddies, he's like
I was
happy but
last.
dreading. He's like, oh, I'm going to make an idiot of myself. Blah, blah, blah. But he goes out, he has a great time because you get a bunch of buddies together, and it's always a good time. But I propose let's go out and do this as like a new not wifely duty, husband wifely
Couple
duty,
thing.
couple
A
thing, whatever.
A couple things.
Get on a Saturday morning, couple hours. Let's start making this our routine. Our kids are older; they can be left alone. Let's go do this as a bonding thing.
Yeah.
And and he thinks I talk too much, which I guess.
Well, you can't talk during golf.
So there's
Really. But you know what I found during golf, though, of late?
All right.
Is people bringing speakers.
For music?
They're playing music while they're playing golf. Now, I'm thinking to myself, the traditional golfers at the Bushwood Country Club are going to be very upset
Oh, yeah.
that Rodney Dangerfield
It's
showed up with his golf
playing
bag.
Journey
right?
in the background.
But I've more and more younger folks are
Bring their
bringing
music with
their
them.
music with them. And
Interesting.
most of the time it's tasteful. They turn it down. I played last year. Played in a golf course in Old Forge, New York, which is up in the Adirondacks. They bought all brand new golf carts, and they had the GPS in them and all that other cool stuff.
You need GPS
They
in the
had
golf
speakers, Bluetooth speakers.
So just plug it in.
But the interesting thing was the speakers were actually faced inwards towards the golfer sitting in the seat.
Okay.
So
so
the
when you're
moment you
driving
got out of
around?
the golf cart, you didn't hear
You
it.
couldn't hear it anymore.
But when you get in, you can
It's
hear
right
it.
there.
It was amazing. Like, wow, that's pretty
Okay.
good.
what would you put on your golf playlist in that cart? Let's hear Eye of the Tiger
I
or
probably put in like
Little Rocky.
I probably put in like some 70s rock. I kind of dig that. That'd be all right. I could do that.
No gangster rap for you.
No gangster rap. No gangster rap for me. Little country music probably in there as well. That would be on my playlist.
Just doesn't adhere to the golfing.
I would definitely put
etiquette,
what's the Caddyshack theme? I'm All Right by Kenny Loggins.
By Kenny
I would
Loggins.
definitely put that on there. There would be no doubt. That would be the first holes.
and Journey any way you want it.
Any way you want it. Yep, that's right.
All right. So
After a bad shot, Don't Stop Believing. So
I was going to do. Okay, play with your girlfriend.
Yeah,
Get
that I got to
better
do
and better
that.
and
I
better.
do.
You guys, golf is one of those sports, like
Yeah.
every sport, but you really got to practice at it.
He was
to
telling
get
me there's
better
a
at it.
golf course in, I don't know if it's Gloucester. It's like a 9-hole course.
Gloucester Country
It's a
Club.
great place to start. That's where he
Well, there's one-
instructed.
Country Views up there
me to
too.
go.
I
What
think,
about the
but
one in
that's 10.
Lincoln?
Fairlawn.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's 9 holes.
It's 9 holes. It's a good short game course. It's a par
Yeah.
3 course, so you
Right.
use all your irons on that. You
Yeah.
don't take out a driver. But
Do you ever take the show on the road, Joe? Do we ever do anything remote?
Can we do it in a golf course?
we have taken
from a
the show
golf
on the road.
Live from a golf cart. We're
As
here
we're
today
moving
with
right along.
Melissa Smith as she's learning how to play golf. Look at that. Oh, that's a shank to the right.
How about wow, she is good, and her husband was absolutely right,
right.
and not having like
No,
let's
it
go
does-
with the
All right,
positive.
we'll go with that if that's what you
Right
want.
now with my back issues, I'm not sure I'll be
Doesn't,
golfing, but see you next spring.
Yeah.
okay.
See you next
That's right.
spring.
Doesn't want to play with her now. All right, layoffs at CCRI.
I know.
Wow, 45 full-time staff members, no faculty, but what do you figure? Administrative assistants, janitors.
Yeah, probably all that stuff,
any
which is
kind of
unfortunate
filing
now.
clerks, things
Because
like
now
that.
that makes everybody else's job who has to do those tasks just through the
Yeah.
and then
You got a lot
quality
more
will
to do.
suffer. Things won't look as good. The lawn won't get cut.
Yep.
The gardens won't get weeded.
Who's gonna plow the parking lots.
Yeah.
I know,
in the
snow
wintertime.
removal is such a big ticket item.
And these poor colleges are they're. I mean, just look at PC. I mean, 120 cases in one shot, and that's all the kids.
Only what they've detected.
And they struggle because they can't not have kids on campus because that's how they make. They have to make money through that. And,
that's housing, and you've got the dining component and all those other little pieces that people don't think of. That's all employed.
I have a friend that works at Bryant, and told me that if Bryant had to go all virtual this year and not have any kids come back to campus, that they risk losing $11 million in just the semester. I'm like, wow.
I believe it.
Because food, you make money on room and board, right? The tuitions, of course, they'd have to probably discount tuitions for kids to go to online classes. Otherwise, just go to the University of Phoenix because it's not as expensive.
Well, right. Actually, that's funny. I was touring with a family last week, and one of the potential clients' daughter works for SNU, Southern New Hampshire University, and we were talking. My husband graduated from there actually pre-changeover to Southern New Hampshire University when it was New Hampshire College. And we were just talking about the differences in the campus, and I said to her, I go, how lucky are you to be working for an institution, knowing my husband works for Holy Cross, it's a completely night and day for them. They already had a platform. They already had an online learning platform. She's like, you would not believe, enrollment is through the roof. They're like 300,000 plus, and they're doing better than ever. So this model, I just feel like so many schools are going to be jumping on that bandwagon because now they've had to figure this out and scramble to come up with this model. But they're going to be probably having more competition than ever before in the next 5 years because schools are going to have to pivot and figure out this option.
My son works for a college in Maine, and his initial job there was to go around to different high schools and college fairs and try to get the undergrads to come to the college. And now, but like you said, with online learning going through the roof, they've created a new department that he's in, that he moved into, along with others, and it's all the online people. It's people that are calling up the school and how do I learn about online learning, and some third party vets them out to make sure they actually really want to do this, and then they shoot them over to him and others, and they work them through the process. This is how you sign up for this, and this is what it will cost, and this is everything you got to do.
Yeah.
So it's a whole new cottage industry.
I will tell you that I taught at the University of Phoenix for 9 years. I was an adjunct faculty, and I remember getting the job was a process. It was first of all, it was a learning process, but more importantly, they really vetted you to make sure that you were capable of doing it. They didn't pay you nearly what the amount of hours that you spent doing it. So for faculty, it's going to be a real challenge, I think. My buddy Pete is at Stonehill College. He's an adjunct faculty over at Stonehill, and he's doing the half virtual, half in person. So he goes Tuesday nights, and he sits in front of a lecture hall with like 10 kids in it, all spread out all over the place, and then there's a camera on him for the rest of the kids that are in their house. The amount of prep time in Phoenix's world, it's an asynchronous environment, which means that you can go on and do your work anytime. And the professor has to kind of monitor what's happening in the classroom at all times. So we have to be in the classrooms as a professor 6 out of 7 days, and that means actually replying and commenting with students, interacting with students 6 out of 7 days. They only have to do it 5 out of 7 days.
Okay.
So it was for 9 years I thought this is great, I'm doing this, and then I realized I'm making about $1 an hour for the amount of time I'm spending here, and I went, you know what, this isn't worth it.
They didn't tell you
I know
that
how
part.
much they were charging for the class, and I was constantly getting 25, 26 students in the class that I had to interact with twice a week.
All the time,
Oh, I mean, it was. I go, okay. When I was teaching in person at Bryant, that interaction was there, but it was in person. It was all concentrated in a 3-hour period of time, and then
you were
anything
done.
that students wanted to, communicate with me, they could off time. But
Keep going.
Dave's taking on a wall. All right, everything's resetting now, folks. Holy cow! You just had a stroke, or the lights just went out. So it's interesting, and I think that the online world is going to really become an important. And I wonder if that's the thing that changes higher education.
100%.
It's going to.
100%.
Right?
Have to.
Because all the cost of higher education was burdensome to so many kids. Now they can do it, and they're going to find out that they can do it for less money.
They're going to close buildings down.
There'll be colleges that won't make it.
If you're a developer, you're even saying to yourself, I'm going to start popping up housing just outside the perimeter of campus at a fraction of the cost. And you know what I mean? So it's going to change the face of it for sure.
All right, break time on Coffee In once again, and time for the forecast being brought to you by CVS. And today, sunny and warmer temperatures than it's been the past couple of days. High near 77. Tonight, clear skies, low 55. Thursday, sunny, 78. Thursday night, partly cloudy, low around 56. Friday, sunny, high near 78. And Saturday, sunny, and a high near 78. So currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street, where they're doing some fine road construction. We have 57 degrees. CVS pharmacists have a tool designed to look for ways that may help lower your prescription costs. Visit CVS today. Savings will vary. See store for details.
The Baroaster House restaurant on Pond Street in Woonsocket is open for takeout and delivery of any dish on their menu. All you have to do is call them at 762-1717. Tell them if you'll pick it up or if you want it delivered. You have a choice. The Baroaster House is open 7 days a week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from 4 to 8. Thursday, 4 to 9. And Friday and Saturday, 3 to 9. Sundays, noon to 8. You don't have to miss your favorite Baroaster House meal. Order takeout or delivery at 762-1717. That's 762-1717. The Baroaster House.
Local businesses are the key to success in our community. That's why Leo at Switzer Automotive of Woonsocket is a growing business, and Leo and his staff have been giving their expert mechanical services for many years. Switzer knows how important car maintenance is, and their quality service is always guaranteed. Trust the experts at Switzer. Remember, they provide complete foreign and domestic car and truck repairs. Client confidence is their most valuable product. Switzer Automotive, 309 Olo Street, Woonsocket. We salute you for your continuing success in our community.
Hi, this is Don Brunell inviting you to join us on the Midday Show every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday with the Super Quiz, great oldies, and interesting guests.
Don Brunell is back Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 1 p.m.
And it is Coffee In here on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us this morning. Joe Callahan here with Melissa Smith and Tim Draper. And Tim, time for a first message from Navigant Credit Union.
Thank you, Joe. We, Dave and I were having a little conversation this morning about our new...
paint chips?
Well, besides paint chips, which I think we selected a color. Oh, okay. Melissa, would you agree that...
swept him away before I could even weigh in my vote.
He did not.
What?
This was not a consensus. He's just... I don't know why he's looking for my
inclusion here, obviously.
I chose a light gray. I think that would be much better for the studio.
I'm just letting you know I'm not going to participate in a color that I don't appreciate in this space.
Sorry, Tim. Credit Union. We're talking about our new spots that focus on customers and owners, and we don't want anybody to think that we're not thinking about members and understanding that when you get an account at Navigant Credit Union, you do become a member of the credit union. You're entitled to a piece of the business. You're entitled to great rates and great service, and we think that those are differentiators in the marketplace quite nicely, but on their own. But for those people that are not members yet, you folks are customers of some other financial institution, which is fine. We're asking you to consider Navigant Credit Union on a different basis, not just membership, but on ownership. And the reason we're focusing on ownership is because if you own something, you tend to take care of it, and you tend to participate with it more than if you're just a customer of something, right? Mm-hmm. So with Navigant Credit Union, one of our core values is participation in the community. So we feel as if, when you're out there and you're choosing a financial institution to do business with, wouldn't you like to do business with somebody who's really going to care about the place that you live? And our job is to try and make those places better for you to live, work, and play. And then along the way, we're going to teach you about, finances. We're going to try and help you and educate you about your money so that you're making smart decisions. So when we talk about our customers are our owners and our owners are our customers, that's the differentiating factor between Navigant Credit Union and any other financial institution that's out there, other than another credit union, because it's the same. But for us, really, truly, we think ownership is an important concept to get.
All right, very good, Tim. And just keeping along the college theme that we've been talking about. I don't know if I brought it up with you guys when it first broke. But once again, I was wrong, by the way, on this whole thing. The whole story about Northeastern University kicking out the 11 kids.
Yeah.
And we're keeping your money. Mm-hmm. And it took 2 days before 2 parents said, we're suing you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then it took another day before Northeastern says, here's all your money back. Mm-hmm. I'm like, because I was like, no, you'll win.
Yeah.
But I'm sure their lawyers came.
Consistency. Like, how else do you get it through the kids' minds, the severity of their actions?
Well, I know.
And I feel like if they laid out the rules beforehand and said, hey, understand if your kid is caught. Right. No, so stand behind it. And
that's right. And you sign it. These are the rules of the college.
Exactly.
And if you break them, we have the right to throw you out
100%.
and keep your money.
In a lot of cases,
but they said,
we have created an entitled generation
100%.
who think that they can do whatever they want to do at the expense of anybody else, and they do not care.
Right.
Okay.
And that's the problem. If we really truly raised a generation of people who are concerned about others, then maybe they would give pause to that. Even at WPI, where my kid goes, they've done a pretty good job at keeping cases down. I don't think they've had many other than a couple since school began. But it seems like those kids are very focused, and the school does a very good job at reminding everybody about why you have to behave the way you do. The problem in PC's case, for example, is that's all the kids on Eaton Street living off campus.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's really where they're finding the big challenges, is when you're not on campus. They're kind of losing control of the students.
Well, how do you control it?
How do you control
when
it?
they're off
Even
campus?
when you're on campus, how do you control it?
Yeah.
That's you got security that's traveling around. That's fine, but it's a challenge. So you have to come to the realization that you're not gonna corral these kids. I don't think you have to figure out how to manage the situation.
And they're rebelling. I think that you're hearing every college is handling this process differently.
Yep.
I was talking to a colleague at work about Assumption. Her son's there. He's a freshman. He's I think going on 6-7 weeks now. I think they had some rule where they allowed local kids to come in for. I'm not sure what the wave of on-campus allowance was, but anyways, I think he went there for the first time the second week of August. So he's been cooped up in his little dorm room by himself. So they've spread everybody out, one person per dorm room. They get their meals, I think, are delivered. I don't know what all the rules if they've changed since, but I was talking to her this week, and she's like, I have to break him out. Like, he's going crazy.
Yeah.
This is a freshman, so you're like, oh, it's my freshman year. I get to go live in a dorm. It sounded all awesome and cool in the beginning, right? And you think, oh, they can survive through anything. It's a social experience. They're going to have a great time. He's miserable. He's depressed. He's upset. He's rebelling now, and he's like, I have got to get out. This is where the cases start to kick in, because she's talking about sneaking him off campus. And
climb out the window.
I looked at her. I'm like, you work in healthcare. You can't do that. And she's like, I have to rescue my son.
Yeah.
She's like, I just want to take him out to eat. I want to get him some good food. I want to take him shopping, get a few things, and then I'll bring him back. And I said to her, I'm not telling her name on air, but it's that feeling of her times how many other examples hit that rebelling moment. And that's where the problems, I think, start to develop. And like you said, to PC, I mean, how can you with that off-campus stretch of apartments? There's partying and everything. So you start out like really good for a couple weeks, and then all these kids want to break free.
Sure.
Do you blame them? That college experience is amazing, but they don't want to really accept the outcome.
Well, it also comes down to accepting responsibility for your actions. This is back to Northeastern.
Absolutely.
So if you're breaking the rules, okay, we're going to toss you out and we're going to keep your money.
Well, if they'd have said that, if Northeastern had said that at the beginning, that if you get tossed, we keep your tuition.
They did say that.
At the very beginning, they said
yes. We're kicking these 11 people out.
And they're having them sign the waiver.
And everyone that pays $36,000 for that semester, we're keeping it.
Right.
So I wonder if they really would have had an easy case like that. I mean, again, you agreed to that. That was the contract.
I know.
You signed and agreed to. I'm going to pay the tuition, and if my kid gets kicked out, then that's... So the parents, it's their responsibility to say to the kid, listen, you got to follow the rules. My wife talks to Ben every day. Mm-hmm. How's it going? What's going on? What are you doing? And he's in a fraternity, and he said the fraternity's really been remarkably good about, even in their congregate settings, everybody's apart, right? And even the eating has been good. But we're checking in. And every day, what's going on? What are you doing?
But from the other standpoint, was from a public relations standpoint.
Yeah, well,
Mr. PR.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Is Northeastern looking at bad public relations, and now maybe we get less people applying to come here?
Totally,
right.
And that would be all right. There's such a waiting list for Northeastern. I'm thinking they're not going to worry too much.
But on the flip side, maybe there's responsible parents who are saying, Exactly.
Yeah.
You're making decisions to protect my kid,
Yep.
who was not one of these kids and was
Yep.
following the rules and not. There's two sides to it, but I also think it's funny you mentioned the PR piece. How many colleges that are out there that are not, their stories are not being showcased right now?
Oh, yeah.
I can think of a few, but also even URI, you just said fraternity, and there was a sorority that was on the news yesterday, and I laughed out loud when I heard it because I'm like, I'm sure that there's hundreds of other sororities and fraternities. I went to UNH. UNH was on the news the other day. It just happens to be whatever, that day, slow news story. Okay, let's showcase. Because it was a handful of kids at that sorority. But how many members are actually of that sorority or living in that building? It's whatever the news is for the day that gets the headline. But it's unfortunate because there's a lot of schools that are flying under the radar successfully.
So Northeastern, those 11 are still kicked out for this semester, but we're just taking their money and switching it to the spring semester.
Okay. So they're coming. They get them to come back.
They can come back
That's a happy
in the
medium.
spring, and they probably will.
Were they given the option to do distance learning?
In the fall?
No. Yeah. Now.
No. You're definitely done for this semester.
Isn't that interesting?
And you can come back in the spring if you want, and we'll just shift your money to the spring. So they haven't lost any cash. They just got an
Unless
extra,
they decide not to come back.
Unless
they
they
get
decide
mad
to
at
come
Northeastern
back.
and go fine. Take,
and they just got
money
another
back.
4 months of vacation.
Yeah.
Is what they got.
Wow.
If you want to.
At
call
that
it
point,
But
I'm
you're
not
4
sure
months behind schedule on your
Well,
plans
yeah.
for graduation. I mean,
that's true too.
I don't think kids the kids that are going to college that want to go to college would probably be very disappointed. I think if they had to take an extra 4 months of vacation
Absolutely.
because they spent the whole summer buying stuff at Target and putting it in Rubbermaid containers and getting it to your dorm, and then all of a sudden I messed up, I made a bad decision, and now I'm kicked out. I got to wait another 4 months to do this all over again. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how
I think of, too, I was an RA in college, and there's probably an enormous responsibility because this is like always the time of year you're coming off the summer. RAs went back like a month before everyone else for special training.
Yep.
I did my hand quotes on that one because it was more like having fun hanging out, but it was great. It was a good experience. I love being an RA. But I was thinking with this pandemic, that extra layer of training. So you're not just getting trained on like observed behaviors for drug use or alcoholism or behavioral depression, whatever that you might see with the kids on your floor that you're managing. But now you have to be responsible for like this pandemic level of behavior, making sure that they're making good choices. Because if you think about, I don't know about your college experience, but mine was, there were definitely people freeloading on couches in the dorms, So are
From
you
other
now
schools,
policing people who are not supposed to be on the floor that are on the floor because they're supposed to be virtual, but the school has rules about, like even URI, the freshman, I think, class wasn't allowed in-state to be in the dorms or something like that.
Yeah, in-state.
they
But
had
if you
to
have,
commute.
if you have a friend in the dorm or someone and you're just going to freeload down there and as an RA, you'd have to be policing all of that. What a crazy extra layer of responsibility. Hopefully they give them a little extra something, but...
Well, hopefully. All right. We got to take another break here in the Coffee and Program. Things are moving right along. So, Tim, time for your second message from Navigant Credit Union.
Joe, one of the things the pandemic has done for us is really showcase our digital tools that we have at the credit union. Online banking, mobile banking, remote deposit capture, bill pay, all the important tools that we have that are accessible right from your phone or from your computer. And what we found is that a lot of our seasoned citizens, our seasoned members, who were a little reticent to use the digital tools because it's something you have to learn new and it's hard to teach
technology,
an old dog do tricks and stuff. What's my password? We're finding that is not necessarily the case. Those folks are really kind of adopting and making good use out of the tools that we have, the digital tools that we have. So my point here is that if you are a member of Navigant Credit Union and you have not tried any of our digital tools and you're a little afraid to try them, stop by and see Amanda and the team over at the Park Square branch and ask them for a little help. Tell them you need 5 minutes of their time, 10 minutes of their time to walk you through how to sign into the online banking platform. And then you can look at your financial picture 24/7. And if you're really savvy and you want to get into the money management, you can actually bring in accounts from all your other financial institutions and see your entire financial relationship right there in front of you with your login to navigantcu.org. So my message here is that if you're interested in trying it, you thought maybe it's time, but you're not sure how to do it, go see Amanda and the team at Park Square. They're happy to see you. Got to wear a mask. It's okay, but it's they're very excited whenever the member comes in and asks for an educational opportunity. So 223-4700, navigantcu.org.
Can you give the number again? It was kind of quick.
All right. 233-4700.
There you go.
And navigantcu.org.
Very good. More Coffee Hands coming up. Stay tuned. Ask anyone and they'll tell you the best sandwiches in Woonsocket are at Kay's Restaurant. See the complete list of sandwiches online at kaysrestaurant.com. While you're at their website, sign up for free to be a Kay's Restaurant VIP. You'll receive updates on special events, new menu items, menu reviews, and more. Be sure to check their Facebook page daily to see amazing specials. And be sure to click on Kay's Restaurant's display ad on WoonsocketRadio.com. Kay's Restaurant on Cass Avenue, across from CVS Health, Woonsocket.
Skilled trade workers are the backbone of every community, and also the Army National Guard. Soldiers trained to keep the power flowing, engines running, and in every other trade needed to accomplish the mission. These soldiers are on the fast track to learning skills that can set them up for success at home with companies looking to hire the best. Their resumes are being built through their paid training and part-time service. Find out how you too can learn a trade profession by visiting NationalGuard.com. Sponsored by the Rhode Island Army National Guard. Aired by the Rhode Island Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, this is Reagan Whiteside.
And I am Dave Koz. Join us this weekend when my very special guest will be flutist Reagan Whiteside. She's got lots of fine music to share with us and stories to tell. Check out my website, davekoz.com, during the week, and be here this weekend for Reagan Whiteside, yours truly, and a ton of great weekend music on the Dave Koz Radio Show.
Hi, fans of smooth jazz. The Dave Koz Radio Show can only be heard on ON AM and FM, 1240 AM, 99.5 FM, every Sunday, twice on Sundays, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., and again 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And the Dave Koz Radio Show is brought to you by the Carew Investment Group. It's the Dave Koz Radio Show every Sunday right here on
ON AM and FM.
And it's Coffee In here on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Callahan here with Melissa Smith and Tim Draper. And, back 50 minutes ago when we had our national news on, it said, Putin's is going to try to change the election. Is he affecting how you guys are going to vote? No. He's not affecting me either, so I don't understand.
No. And he's doing it. The Chinese are doing it.
Yeah.
The Israelis are doing it.
We're all aware of it now.
The whole world's doing it. Everybody knows they're trying to. So just make your
own choice, right?
The problem is the information. The information that you get, how much is accurate, and how much isn't.
Yeah.
So you got to listen to the candidates and hope that you can make a judgment, I think, based on what they say.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what, and then again, based on what the news media is going to give to you in or out of context.
Absolutely. I mean, even
There's
that
the
documentary I talked about a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago on the air, I mean, when it points out even just the images that are selected on Facebook to show up in your feed and not being drawn in by certain images, and don't even click on the story,
Yeah.
but you don't know what to follow, you don't know what to read, it's very hard to trust your instincts and keep your straight,
Yep.
perspective, because it's easy to get persuaded because of all these methods that they've figured out.
Yep.
Well, I've just never said to myself, I don't know who to vote for. I'm going to ask Putin.
I'm going to ask Vladimir Putin
his thoughts are
Yeah.
on who I should vote for.
And I think they're trying to influence both sides. That's the interesting
Well,
thing.
last I heard is they don't want Biden and they want Trump to stay in. Yet the Chinese want it the other way around.
Yeah.
So, what foreign government am I going to listen to?
I know.
Oh, man.
Gosh, there's no good answer to that one.
And we brought it up the last couple of days, is because we're just going to hear it for the rest of this week, because Trump's is going to make his big nomination.
Yeah.
And why is it a big? It's a big media event for whatever reason. Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time.
Because he's made
That's
it a
how he
media
rolls.
event.
Trump
Yeah.
is making his
Yeah.
announcement. I'm like,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean that person will
No.
be on the Supreme Court.
No, and I wish John was here because he'd clarify this, but I think that Trump can put the nomination forward now.
He can.
The
Yeah.
Senate can start to do hearings. Even after the election, there's still senators until January, whatever the date is, when they all get sworn in, right? Or is it immediately after the election that the new
No,
Senate?
I thought it was January 1st that they all get
I
sworn
thought so
in.
too. So
yeah.
there's still another month or so
Time.
that they
There's
could
still
do what
time.
they got to do.
Yeah.
And of course, my favorite is the whole everybody screaming hypocrisy on the Republican Party, like, "Oh, they're hypocrites, they're hypocrites." But just look at what the Democrats were saying when Obama wanted to put Merrick Garland in. It was the same thing. The president
Same thing.
has the right until the end of his term.
Correct.
He's the president until he's done.
It doesn't,
And the president should have the right. Joe Biden, the president should have the right to make his pick, whether it's a month out or not.
Yeah.
And then, okay, now all of a sudden it's like, no, he should wait till the next guy. It's just foolishness. And I hope people in America just get that.
I hope
that it's
so.
foolishness. The problem is that I think people are very nervous about who he would pick to
Yes.
put on there,
Yeah.
and so that's the reason.
I asked Romeo Berthium, our constitutional scholar,
Yeah.
does it say in the Constitution that the president can pick the next Supreme Court justice unless the other side doesn't like you? No, that last phrase is not in the
No, not in the
Constitution, so I'm sorry about that. So, all right, on to other things. So, do you think it was hot this summer in New England, in Rhode Island?
Well, my electricity bill tells you that it was, but that might have just been because I had 3 people in my house all summer long.
Well, there you go.
I don't think it was the hottest summer we've experienced. There was a couple hot stretches, and my AC did die. So I would say, for us probably, but
Yes,
not the hottest.
But not as bad as Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh gosh, yes.
Phoenix is setting a new record for its hottest summer ever.
Yep.
Wow.
They hit like 128.
Yep. So they saw an average temperature of 96.9 degrees
Mm-hmm.
between June 22nd and September 21st.
But Joe, it's a dry heat.
It's a dry heat, so it's okay, right?
No. Crazy.
Included in the overall record-breaking heat are 2 individual records. The mean high temperature was just below 109 degrees. The mean low temperature was just above 85 degrees.
Wow.
I wonder who they serve. My friend lives out there. She said it hit 128 one day on her thermostat.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
Yeah. Who knows?
So
mean is the middle, though. It's not the average.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So did she just do nothing on those days? What are you doing? It's 128.
So yeah, and they've got 2 very young kids. They installed, which I think is kind of cool. You don't see it out here. They installed a splash pad in their yard about 5 years ago.
Okay.
So you go to like a park, a
Yeah.
city park, and they've got the splash pad with
Yeah.
the big like jumping water thing.
Yeah.
They have one of those in their backyard, and I said, well, why that,
Instead
and why
of a
not
pool?
a pool? And
Okay.
she said because in a pool in Arizona where they are, it's sitting water. It becomes too hot to be refreshing.
Yeah.
So by having a
all right.
splash pad, it's fresh water coming out of like the piping from inside the house. So it's
Oh.
cooler. So it's more refreshing than
All right.
sitting in
that makes sense.
a hot pool of hot water.
Like in a hot tub all the whole time.
You're in a hot tub
Hot
in the
tub.
heat.
Why not just use a sprinkler?
I think
It's not as cool,
It's
Joe.
It's not as much
Arizona, so
fun.
you're talking about it's certainly not as much fun, but it's also
Yeah.
like I'll have to bring a picture in for you, but it's very
But
cool.
I'm sure it's
a
very
splash
cool.
pad in their backyard.
It must be a whole industry
Well, you know what?
out there
Splash
for
pads
the...
probably recycle the water too, like a pool does. It probably goes through a filter and it's cleaned,
Probably,
and
yeah.
chlorinated, and then shot back out again. Versus a sprinkler, which just is kind of goes
Right.
into the grass and now
Hook it
you're
up to the hose.
wasting,
Right.
now you're wasting probably very precious water out there in Phoenix,
On the
Arizona.
grass?
Mm-hmm.
Well, not so much on the actually, on the grass because if you look at the Lake Mead, right, it's like 60 feet below normal. I mean, it's at
Is it?
record lows, I think.
Yeah.
So they're trying to conserve some water out there, but
Okay, we talked to Tim. You brought up NASA a little bit earlier, and they're announcing new plans that would land the first woman and the next man on the moon by 2024, and it's only going to cost the 3 of us $28 billion.
just the 3 of us.
Well, we're going to split it up amongst the other
All right,
200
okay.
million that live in this country.
All right, there we go. So it's really a couple
it's,
bucks.
It's really only, that's right. Astronauts are returning to the moon for scientific discovery, economic benefits. Economic benefits? What are they going to buy stuff up there? And inspiration for a new generation of explorers. All right.
Well,
Is it it's Jeff Bezos' team, I think, that's doing the moon landing, right? The
Doesn't say on this.
Blue Orion or whatever that is called.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to think of how it works. SpaceX is reusable rocketry. I mean, everything is reusable in that particular
Well,
platform.
that's the Tesla guy.
Yeah, Elon Musk. Yep, that's SpaceX.
Yeah, okay.
So that's all reusable stuff. The Blue
Yeah.
Orion, I'm not sure if it's the same capabilities, but I guess they're going to put a satellite around the moon that becomes the platform that the moon landings happen from.
So you
that
land on that
you
satellite?
go to the moon, you dock up with that space station, and then from there's some sort of a transporter system that takes you to the moon surface where you do what you got to do, and then you can go back and then get back that way. That's the last
It's
I
all
heard. I
very
don't know.
Star Trek-ish.
It is. It's actually. I find it interesting. I'm glad they're doing it. I realize it's a lot of money, and I realize it's a waste. But you know what? We need something in this country to be excited about and rally around, and something that nobody else is doing.
I thought it was cool when the SpaceX rocket went up. I said,
It's
"When's the last
amazing
time
to
we
me."
had something
Oh,
like
yeah.
this?
Everybody
This is so
watching
cool.
those two guys go up there.
Yeah.
It was very
and
cool.
How
It was fascinating.
just how different the capsule was.
Oh, yeah,
compared
that
to
was amazing.
Even the shuttle, right? I mean,
Yeah.
was 3 40-inch monitors. That's all they had.
And we just touched
they
the
basically
monitors.
were passengers on this flight to the station.
No flipping switches anymore.
Nope. And it was really interesting.
So NASA has awarded several companies to design and develop a lunar lander. Mm-hmm. So it's going out to the lowest bidder.
Yeah, great.
Yes,
that's what you want, the lowest bidder on a thing like that.
And so if everything's successful, this will be the first humans landing on the moon since 1972.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't believe they never went back. I guess you wonder if that's just because they didn't.
Well,
there was no value at the time to do it. We wanted to do the reusable shuttle stuff.
Yeah, we started focusing on other stuff, and and they said maybe they thought, well, if the shuttle works and we can bring it back and forth, and we can just.
I think originally they wanted to have a runway on the moon and land it and take off and stuff like that, but well. It's interesting. I'm glad they're doing it. I think it's good. Mm-hmm. It could be good for the country to get rallied around that.
Good news, something positive.
I'd like to be there before the Chinese are there, which I think they're trying to do too. And I think India actually has a program, a space program as well. Interesting.
All right, this is kind of odd. In India, doctors in India have successfully have successfully removed a toothbrush from the stomach of a man. He swallowed his toothbrush whole.
How do you do that?
How do you do it? I don't know.
I just jammed it in the back of my mouth by accident, and it's awful.
And you let go of it? I mean, 39-year-old guy, no kid here, 39-year-old guy brushing his teeth when the 7-inch toothbrush slid down his...
How can you not even...
Slid down his throat.
Was he a knife swallower and he just accidentally did the wrong... Oh, I thought it was...
That I don't understand either. I know. I can't even...
X-rays showed it was in his stomach. He didn't report any pain, though. But he knew it was there. So,
oh, my God.
So the surgeons made a small incision in his stomach and took it out. And he recovered a few days later. I don't think he gets the toothbrush back, though.
No, that's just...
It doesn't even make sense.
It's a weird story.
Isn't it odd?
So glad you picked that one, Joe. Next.
Well, I think
as we're all like,
well, all right,
gagging.
It's gross just thinking about it.
There's a guy in Illinois. He has had Richard Nixon's half-eaten sandwich for decades.
What?
He's in possession of a strange memento from President Nixon. Steve Jenny says Nixon made a campaign stop in his hometown in 1960 and was served a barbecue buffalo sandwich. I don't know what that is.
How do people like this even exist in this world?
But apparently he only finished half of it.
So if you throw it in the microwave, will it soften the bread up and stuff?
I don't know. So this guy was a Boy Scout at the time. He decided to keep the leftovers as a unique souvenir. So he took the sandwich, took it home, put it in the freezer. That's where it's been for the last 60 years.
Wow.
He has since appeared on the Tonight Show.
Does that guy collect?
He was on the Tonight.
That's my question.
He was on the Tonight Show in 1988, and he wrote a book about it, "The Sandwich That Changed My Life."
Oh,
so you just never know what's
going
to...
People exist like this.
There are people. Hey,
to each his own.
That buffalo barbecue sandwich. Hey, Nixon ate this. I got some of his DNA. I'm going to take it home with me.
It doesn't
create another Nixon. I don't know.
Oh.
All I can think is even you get married, you keep your top of your wedding cake the year later.
And even then,
I'm not even suggesting this crazy guy is ever going to even try to eat that sandwich, but you think to yourself, even after a year of something being in your freezer like that, it doesn't taste the same, it doesn't look the same, and then at some point you need the space in your freezer.
That's right.
At some point you just
we did it. We kept it, and tried it, and it was gross.
Unless he's got a second freezer.
Dedicated?
Out the garage.
Dedicated. The Dick Nixon freezer.
That's where you put the extra beer. That's where you put the extra venison if you're a hunter. Before you bring it into the real freezer, that's the family access.
There's no words. On
okay. All right, we got to run. We've done with the program, so thank you very much for listening. Tim Draper, thanks for coming in today.
Joe, thank you very much for having me, and enjoy the God-given day, everyone.
Thank you very much. Melissa Smith, nice of you to come back.
Nice to be back.
Glad you could make it back with us.
Thank you.
So you'll be back next week?
Possibly, or maybe Natalie will be coming in my place.
All right, very good. I'm Joe Callahan. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll talk to you this afternoon here on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue